April 15th, 2026.
Sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Marco, I got you
I don't know.
off guard there. If we could do roll call, please, sir.
Dr. Alquist,
Here.
Mr. Atway,
Here.
Mrs. Duramo,
Here.
Mrs. Elford,
Here.
Mr. DeMilo.
Here. Stand for the pledge, please.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are going to start off with a few recognitions, but before we do, we're going to do Rotary Student of the Month, and then a new recognition, Board of Education Teacher of the Month, and then our student resolutions for the winter. So everybody, if you could at least stay through those first three, and then we'll give you some time to take off. I know we have school and everything tomorrow, so we're going to kick it off with Dr. Potts, though, and Student of the Month.
Thank you, everyone, and good evening. Well, in a school full of great kids that has any number of deserving recipients, I can't think of no one any more deserving of the Canfield High School Rotary Club Student of the Month award than Bryce Roberts. Bryce, you come forward. So Bryce is a senior that has excelled in academics, athletics, and just in his character. Bryce has consistently chosen a challenging schedule, just packing it full of honors, CCP, and AP classes, and yet he still carries a 4.0 GPA. He also, I think it's impressive, he had perfect attendance for his freshman, sophomore, and junior year. Didn't miss a single minute of school, no hours or anything. And the streak ended this year, but he still has good attendance. He is a senior. So in sports, Bryce has quite the resume as well. So in basketball, he lettered 3 years. He was first team All ACC 2 times. He was All District 2 times. He was All Northeast District, second team 2 times, and he was All Ohio honorable mention 2 times. He also served as the captain of the team. In football, Bryce just played his senior year, but still he was the honorary captain, and although it was his first year in high school football, he earned first team All AAC as a defensive back, and second team All Inland District Northeast defensive back, and he also made some memorable catches for the Cardinals during as wide receiver this year as well. In golf, Bryce only played 2 years of golf, but he was a 2-year letter winner, and I didn't realize that you were first team All AAC both years. So, but aside from sports, Bryce is in National Honor Society. He's been involved in Y Teens. He volunteers in the children's ministry at Greenford Christian Church, and he leads and gives lessons in the 3- and 4-year-old age group. So, good for you. He has volunteered at Canfield Youth Basketball for all 4 years of high school, helping younger kids with their skills and leadership. He also volunteered at Southwoods Health at St. Matthias Church and at Make Kids Count. His counselor, Mrs. Kalina, highlights what a darn nice kid he is, he said. Bryce, pointing to last year, she said she had an ESL student who was failing biology, and she asked Bryce if he could help, and twice a week, without ever being reminded, he gave up his study hall time to tutor her, and she said the results were immediate. The young lady passed the class, and she said the most impressive part was how Bryce made the student feel during this time. So it was a quiet, shy, a little embarrassed to ask for help young lady, but she slowly started to talk more and embrace the opportunity, and she credits this to the warm, patient, and encouraging tone that Bryce set while he was helping her. There are more stories about Bryce's character that I've heard that are really good, but I only have a couple minutes. So anyway, after, okay, all right. So after graduation, Bryce plans to attend Westminster College, where he will receive through the Fowler Little Scholarship a full ride, which covers all 4 years, tuition, room, board, and books, and where he plans to major in pre-med and maybe extend your athletic career as well. So anyway, Canfield High School is very proud to present Bryce Roberts as the Rotary Club Student of the Month.
Congratulations, Bryce, the Roberts family. Just seems like an amazing young man, and I know there's one extremely proud board member, so congratulations, guys. Good luck at Westminster.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Judd Rubin. I'm the principal of Canfield Middle School, and it feels like yesterday I had Bryce here as an 8th grader as a Rotary Student of the Month, so not surprised that you're up here again, Bryce, and congratulations for all your achievements. I would like to move on to introduce our Lainey Brusu as our March Rotary Student of the Month, so if Lainey could come up. Lainey is here with her mom and dad and her all her siblings over there, so looks like they have a busy household. I just want to read, I talked to one of her teachers, Mr. Tarosi, who I asked him to say a few words about her. So he said, Lainey is a very hardworking student who has done an exceptional job in the classroom this year. She shows up each day with a smile on her face and is ready to face the challenges of the day. On top of that, she was always kind to her peers, a leader in a group setting, and passionate about cheerleading. I brought her down in my office and just talked to her a little bit about what Rotary means, and I asked her a few questions. Her favorite subject in school is math. She enjoys trying to figure out problems on her own and in the group setting. Again, she lives with her mom and dad. She has 3 younger siblings, a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-month-old. They have a dog and a cat, and they enjoy going to the lake with the family in the summertime. She would possibly like to be a teen therapist when she gets older, and would like to visit the state of Texas someday. So I just asked her a few last things, and she enjoys cheerleading and dance are her main hobbies, and she loves hanging out with her friends. So we're proud to have Lainey here as a Rotary Student of the Month.
Congratulations, Lainey, Rusu family. Congrats, guys. Good seeing you. Mr. Lavery.
Good evening. My name is Travis Lavery. I'm the principal at C.H. Campbell Elementary School, and I am very proud to introduce Connor Slentz as our Rotary Student of the Month. Connor is a truly amazing young man. He is a wonderful and responsible student. He is a great listener in the classroom. He's what every teacher would, hope for each and every one of the kids that are in her or his classroom. He follows all the CARD rules, which focus on being responsible, respectful, and safe every day. And he is very kind, very well-mannered, just a considerate boy, and definitely a great role model for all of the peers at C.H. Campbell Elementary School. We are truly blessed to have him as a part of our school community. He lives with his mom and dad and his brother Logan. He has 2 dogs, 2 cats, a fish, a turtle, and a hamster, and says he would like to have his own beagle someday. I mean, with that many pets, why not just start now is what I say, but that's all right. In addition to that, he wants to go visit Hawaii someday. He plays soccer. He loves working on arts and crafts, and enjoys reading and writing as his favorite subjects at CH. He is a truly wonderful young man. We are privileged to have him as a part of our school community, and we are so happy to honor him with our Rotary Student of the Month. Congratulations, Connor.
Congratulations, Connor, Slentz family. Mr. Flood.
Good evening, Michael Flood, principal of Hilltop Elementary. I have the pleasure of introducing Oliver Breyer. One thing I stress to the staff at the beginning of the year is let kids be kids. Don't let them grow up too quick. And that's one thing the kid does. He just wants to be a kid. And that's what we want, and that's what we try to preach over at Hilltop. Oliver is well behaved. He always follows class rules. He's friends with everyone in class and out. He's kind to both students and adults. He always has a smile on his face and is ready to learn every day. I asked him what his favorite subject was. Mr. Knoll, you guess it?
Mathematics.
That would be math.
Always.
He enjoys working through multiplication, division facts, so he definitely enjoys that. The big thing I love when they talk about the family, and they're sitting over here, mom, dad, younger brother, who's in first grade. He loves spending time with them. I guess you guys have a zip line. He loves doing that, just spending time with you guys out there, and that means a lot. When he grows up, he wants to work for NASA, and he was heavily involved working for, the Hilltop Project with NASA this past year, and so maybe that drove him a little further. So, one thing he's interested in, he does gymnastics, and, he loves building projects out of cardboard, which I think is great. And one thing that I found out this year, and I think Mr. Knoll, you found out on a snow day, he does love playing laser tag. So, yeah. So Oliver Breyer, Hilltop Student of the Month.
Congratulations, Oliver and the Breyer family. Congrats to all our Rotary Student of the Month. We're going to switch it. I'm going to pass it over to Katie, Jill.
Sorry, they took our steps that were a little short.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Katie Elford, and this is Jill DeRamo. We are on the board-appointed curriculum committee, and this year we are starting something new, where at each board meeting we are going to honor one of our educators. This came out of the curriculum meeting, and we just thought it would be great for fellow educators to nominate their peers. So we were so happy to see that we had around 20 nominations this month, and it was so great to read about the wonderful educators we have at Canfield from their fellow educators. So tonight, our first award is going to go to Mr. Madison, presented by Mrs. George, who nominated him. If you'd both like to come up.
I'm glad Katie's kind of short because I always have to adjust the mic, and now I don't need to. Okay, so I'm Adriana George, if you don't know who I am. I nominated Mr. Madison for this award. Stacy has been working in Canfield for decades. He is constantly going above and beyond to help all of his students. He stays after school for hours, creating new math problems and constantly adjusting his lessons to help each student learn. He has countless examples, and he works everything on the board for students. He's kneeling down and working one-on-one next to their desk to help them, and he provides keys for every paper that he hands out. He comes in early every morning to allow students to come in for review for all of his classes. He has them work out new problems, answers any questions they have on homework, and he helps them prepare for his test. Not only does Stacy work at CHS, but over the summer he is a member of the Canfield Fair maintenance team, where he spends endless hours during the spring, summer, and early fall prepping for the fair and then tearing it all down to set it for the winter and get ready for next year. He is a Canfield man through and through, and I'm proud to have had him as a teacher and be able to co-teach with him. And I'm getting emotional, and I don't know why. I don't know why, but he's such an amazing man inside and out.
Congratulations, Mr. Madison. A great first selection for the Educator of the Month. Definitely a stalwart here at Canfield for many years. And valued employee. Thanks, Mr. Madison.
No, thank you. I just want to add one more thing. We're very grateful to the Smith family and to the Dairy Queen. They are going to sponsor our Teacher of the Month. Mr. Madison, you have a box of Happy, it's called, in the teacher lounge in the freezer. You can't miss it. It's a big box with some colorful tissue paper inside of it. You've got to take it straight home, though, and you better make sure, I live down the street from him, you better make sure it gets home, because I might be coming over later for a treat. So make sure you get your box of Happy, and again, thank you to the Dairy Queen and the Smith family.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to do student resolutions. Mrs. Alford's working double duty. She's got to get back up here and read those. So.
For boys swimming, whereas Mikey Zocali was named district qualifier in boys swimming, and whereas swimming coach Stacy Sowers was named the 2026 Northeast Ohio District Coach of the Year, and whereas Ryan Weibling was named All-AAC, All-Star NEAC District Qualifier in boys swimming, whereas Zachary Mullane was named All-Star NEAC and District Qualifier in boys swimming, and whereas Noah Calabret was a district qualifier in boys swimming and in wrestling, whereas Arias Skingrich was named AAC second team, EOWL honorable mention, and district qualifier in wrestling, and whereas Tristan Miller was named first team AAC, first team EOWL, second place EOWL, district qualifier, and was a state alternate in wrestling. And whereas Gabe Miller was named first team AAC, AAC Wrestler of the Year, first team EOWL, sectional champion, district third place, and placed sixth at state in wrestling. And whereas Joey Panunzio was named first team AAC, second team EOWL in wrestling, whereas John Nagy was named sectional second place and was a district qualifier in wrestling. And whereas Kane Lenarsic was named first team AAC, EOWL honorable mention, sectional second place, and was a district qualifier in wrestling. And whereas Jose Estramera was named first team AAC, second team EOWL, sectional second place, district's fifth place, and was a state alternate in wrestling. Whereas Jaden Masters was named EOWL honorable mention, sectional's third place, and was a district qualifier in wrestling. Whereas Maxwell Hopkinson was named sectional's third place and was a district qualifier in wrestling. Girls basketball. Whereas the Canfield High School girls basketball team was named AAC league champions and district champions, and whereas Jenna Treveri was named first team All AAC, AAC Player of the Year, second team All State, and All Inland District Northeast first team in girls basketball. And whereas Harley Fleming was named first team All AAC, All State honorable mention, and All Inland District Northeast second team in girls basketball. And whereas Sophia Castronova was named first team All AAC and All Inland District Northeast honorable mention in girls basketball. Whereas Loriana Janone was named second team All AAC in girls basketball. And whereas Cece McElroy was named second team All AAC in girls basketball. Boys basketball. Whereas the Canfield High School boys basketball team was named All AAC champs, district champions, and regional qualifiers. And whereas Bryce Roberts was named first team All AAC, second team All NEO, and All State honorable mention in boys basketball. And whereas Jace Ricardo was named first team All AAC, AAC Player of the Year, first team All District. 4, first team All NEO and All State first team in boys basketball. And whereas Landon Shina was named first team All AAC, first team All District 4, All NEO honorable mention in boys basketball. And whereas Joey Gabriel was named second team All AAC in boys basketball. And whereas Grant Seacrest was named second team All AAC in boys basketball. And whereas these accomplishments have brought honor to the students themselves, their families, and their school. Therefore, be it resolved that these students be formally commended for their outstanding achievements, and that this resolution be entered into the official minutes of the Canfield Board of Education. And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be presented to each student as a lasting recognition of their excellence. Great job to all of our students.
Miss Alford, we missed a couple of the state folks. You mentioned them, but we had one that was not here. So we have Mr. Toronto. I'm going to have you stand. And Mr. Miller also was one of our state qualifiers. So let's give them both a nice round of applause as well.
All right, thank you. Congrats to everybody. Now is the time. If you want to leave for the exits, you're welcome to, or you could stay. But
congratulations to all of our athletes.
Just a reminder, Mr. Madison, if you're heading out, Teacher's Lounge, freezer.
Or you can leave one for the superintendent.
That's right.
You can always do that. Maybe?
next, we're going to move on to the presentation of the minutes from last meeting, March 11th, 2026. We did receive these in advance. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved, Alquist.
Second, DeRamo.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. DeRamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Elford?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes. Moving on to Mr. Marco, the
Financial
treasurer.
reports. So I sent you the account statements, the bank reconciliation, all of the typical financial reports. Notice that at the bottom of that bank reconciliation, I always give what we had last month and what we had at this time last year, because month to month is not always the best comparison. The tax advances made their way in through March, so when you're seeing a $9 million balance increase, a lot of that was expected due to the tax advances. So we did receive the settlement first week of April, so that's not quite on the books yet, but that's why you see such a large increase, is the tax advances coming from the county. So we're pretty much where I expected to be with the approximately $9 million increase from last month to this month. Do you have any questions about those reports?
No, it looks like, was it about 900,000 less this year compared to last year?
Compared to last year, correct. Which is right about on line with the expected 1.4 to 1.5 million deficit, having about $900,000. Less is about right now. That, of course, is all of our bank balance, not our general fund balance. General fund is what the 5-year forecast is on, but our total bank balance is all of our funds. But the general fund is hands down the largest portion for sure.
Can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report for March?
So,
Second, Elford.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
yes.
Mrs. DeRamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Elford?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes. All right, we're going to move on. Is this you too, Mr. Marco, here?
Correct, but then and now. So whenever the district receives an invoice above, any invoice before a requisition is approved, it's supposed to be marked as then and now by accounts payable. If that invoice is $3,000 or more, it's, according to state policy, it should go to the board for approval. So that's what this was for AmeriCorps for tutoring services. We did not have a purchase order on the books, and we received an invoice, so that's why I'm presenting it to the board tonight for approval.
Can I have a motion to approve the then and now purchase order?
So moved, Alquist.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So this is strictly for AmeriCorps, is that what you said, Mr. Marco?
Correct. I think there are maybe 5 or 6 tutors who come in and have helped the students during the year, and it's making payment for those tutoring services.
Do we know, is it reading and math?
Mr. Bill, they focus mostly on reading.
It's
that
reading
correct?
and math.
It's both of them, reading and math.
Okay.
This is through the ESC, it looks like?
Yeah, they're the ones that help us get the AmeriCorps folks to come and we interview them and get them on board with us. So next year, we're looking at keeping 4 is our hope for next year.
And this is just obviously above and beyond what we have, the tutors we have and
Yes.
coaches and
Yep.
stuff. Okay.
So are we tracking data as far as, is this something that we're showing improvement with our students because of the work that they're coming out and doing?
Speak to that.
Yes, a requirement of the ESC in the program is that they do pre and post assessment, and they have been doing a nice job for us, very nice job. At a very discounted rate, actually.
All right. Anybody else? Roll call, Mr. Marco?
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. DeRamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Elford?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes. All right, I believe we're going to move to your presentation.
Yeah, we're going to have you all go down if you don't mind.
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Marco and I will take the floor.
I just wanted to thank everyone for being present here tonight. This is a really important follow-up to the 5-year forecast that was presented in February. Part of our board policy tells us if our 5-year forecast doesn't reach a certain threshold, which I'll talk about a little bit later, then this presentation needs to be made by the superintendent and the treasurer to look ahead to see how we can fix the financial problems that are potentially coming up. So that's what this is, kind of a follow-up to the February forecast. I taught for 17 years, and I'm used to moving from to and fro. But then the people at home who are listening can't hear me, so I'm going to try to stay still. If I start wandering, just kind of like, cattle prod me or something. There you go. Mr. Knoll will get me to keep me right here to make sure everyone hears what I'm saying. So this is coming from the February forecast. And notice our July 1st beginning balance is about $13.1 million. And right now, as of the February forecast, I was projecting the district to end the fiscal year on June 30th with about $11.6 million in the bank, which of course is a decrease of about $1.4 to $1.5 million based on the projections that were pretty much completed in January. So that's where we are right now with deficit spending this year. And so because of that, those, as we'll talk about a little bit later, those deficits are projected to increase. And so to align with board policy, we're presenting this to talk about what the board can do to fix the potential issues coming down the road. I think Mr. Knoll is going to speak on the next couple slides here.
So let's talk about how we got here. First of all, this isn't a surprise. If you've been watching past board meetings, our former treasurer talked about potential of having deficit spending in her 5-year forecast. So we had known that this day might be looming based on a whole bunch of different variables, and some of them are what they call unfunded mandates, which drives people like me crazy. There are requirements by law that we have to follow, but don't have dollars that come. And the big one that hits me is our 3rd grade reading guarantee, where we have to offer intervention and tutoring and plans, which are good things, but there's just not dollars there to help us. Dyslexia training, Mr. Vittle reminded me about that today. Stuff that we do with our staff for PD, no dollars come with that at times. And in the special ed world, for those of us that are in it, see Ms. Stewart shaking her head, there's a lot of things that we are required to do, which are good things, and they're needed for our kids with special abilities, but there's no dollars that come with them. And this really isn't breaking news, but inflation has been tough for those of us at home. The things you're paying more for, we're paying a lot for them here as well in a bigger capacity. electric bill, water bills, diesel fuel for our buses are really hurting us right now. So those are some of the reasons why we're here. And quite honestly, and I mentioned this before, we haven't had any new operating dollars in Canfield since November of 2013. So that's 13 years that we've been holding on. And I'm going to show you here with this slide really how we've been doing that. I've talked at this podium about the Fair School Funding Plan, and I've point blank said it's not fair to Canfield, and it's not been, and it wasn't even fully funded. So that put another wrinkle in, but we had kind of forecasted and planned for that. And then one of my favorites, sadly, is all the voucher dollars that are being taken away from public schools and finding other places to go. Those weren't new to us, but they're issues that we've had to deal with. Now, with all that being said, okay, with all that being said, take a look at this chart, because this is incredible to me. Canfield, the first column, similar school districts around the state, and then the state average. If you look at every single one of these operating expenditures, we are below similar and statewide. Administration, how much we pay our people. Look where we're at. Building operation expenditures, this is maintenance, utilities, operations, okay? Way below similar and statewide. Instructional. Now this is why we're here. This is teaching and learning, all that good stuff, and I'm glad to see we're a little closer to similar, because we should be. That's where our bread and butter is, but we're still below both. Pupil support, this is like counseling, health, mental health. You see where we're at. Staff support, this is training and PD. You can see where we're at there as well, way below. All of the above numbers. Total operating 13.4. So folks, here's what I'm here to tell you. Even though we're doing this deficit spend thing and been trying to hold on for dear life, we are spending our money very efficiently and very well. We've been blessed here in Canfield, former treasurer, new treasurer as well, that we're right where we need to be. So I guess my point is we're not heavy in spending. We're not wasteful in spending. I don't know what's being said out there in different places, but that is not the case in Canfield. And there's the evidence right there from state data to prove it. Okay. So this next slide is interesting too.
I love this next slide.
For the
math person out there.
Yeah, this is good. So along the bottom is spending per pupil, okay? Along the going up and down axis is our performance index. Now the PI in this is how well our kids do on state tests. And Mr. Vittle will remind me our PI score was 103 point something. You see that red dot? That's Canfield. Okay, so this process, what's going on here? There are only 2 dots to the left of us that spend less than Canfield and have outperformed us. Only 2 in the state of Ohio out of 613 of them. So once again, this data says unbelievable results based on the amount of money that we're spending here in this district. Go ahead to the next one for me. So I talked that this wasn't news to us, that we were prepared. And I'm just speaking since I arrived here in 2020. When folks have left through attrition, either resigning or retiring, we have made it a priority to see, is there a way that we can take all our resources, reshuffle them, repurpose them, and not harm our programming? That is my #1 priority. And we have been able to do that thus far, as you can see, with some reductions in the last 5 or 6 years. 4 teachers, A classified, the majority of them, just for the record, have been bus drivers. Ms. Linda has done a great job of consolidating our routes, okay, so that we don't need to have those number of people. And we've had 5 retired people, Mr. Madison being one of them. You get a veteran teacher, and instead of paying a higher salary for him, not that he's not worth it, but when you come back as retiree hire, you come back at a lesser amount. Ladies and gentlemen, that's about a $3.5 million mark right there. Now, it's a little concerning to me that we've done this and we're still 1.4 deficit spending. That is discouraging. I'll be very honest with you. But as you've seen, all that data has shown, we're doing what we should be doing here. And here's some more data to prove that as well. Okay? We'll go to one more slide here. And Mr. Marco is going to speak a little bit more to this because this is new since his last update. And honestly, this has just happened in the last month or so. We've had some people who have said, I'm going to retire, and specifically in the middle school, which has allowed us to move some people, shift some job responsibilities through attrition, okay, not replacing those folks, through attrition. 3 teachers, a tutor, and we have another teacher who is going to do retire, rehire. So Mr. Marco, quite honestly, was glad to hear that. That's good for the treasurer. I'm good because, once again, our programming is not suffering. That's my #1 goal as superintendent as we move forward. So some good news, but I just wanted to make sure that our folks in Canfield understand that there's no frivolous spending here. You know, things aren't going astray. We have done extremely well. Our money's where it should be in teaching and learning, and we're running a tight ship moving forward. Mr. Mark.
That's right. And if you'll recall from the February forecast, we kind of pretended from 2016 to 2026, if our revenue from 2016 to 2026, if we drew kind of a straight line over the last 10 years, our revenue's only increased approximately 1.4% on average per year, right? Our expenditures have been 2.8%, and inflation nationwide has been 3.1%. So we've been able to stay lower than inflation on the expenditure side, but our revenue simply has not kept up with the expenditure side, which informs the deficit spending that we're in right now. So Mr. Knoll talked about the staffing changes, and so in essence, if I had to file a forecast a couple weeks ago when this presentation was made, this is what it would have looked like. Now, I'm colorblind. The light blue was the days cash back in February. And when we say days cash, we're pretending that all of our revenue shuts off. How many days can we exist as a school district? That's what days cash means, okay? Because for some districts, $2 million is nothing. But for some districts, $1 million is a lot, right? Kind of depends on the size of the district. So to kind of compare apples and oranges, to make them all bananas, we say, how many days cash do you have? So as of the February forecast, we were down by 2030, down in the -85 world. 2029, we were at -16. 2028, we were at 44. 2027, we were at 93. That's the light blue, okay? And then green, orange, thank you. The orange bars are what if I had to present a forecast as of a couple weeks ago, based on the changes that Mr. Knoll just addressed on the previous slide, with the 3 teachers not being replaced and the 1 teacher moving over into a tutor position, or a tutor moving into a teacher position and then not replacing that tutor position. So notice we have some improvement, right? So for 2026, a drop of 1 day, because you don't necessarily always harness all of the benefits right away, but notice in 2027 we go from 93 to 99. 2028 we go from 44 to 54, and then 2029 from -16 to 1, I believe, and then 2030 from -85 to -66. So it certainly does not solve the problem, but notice those changes that we made did create a positive impact on the forecast moving forward. If you recall, that black line moving forward horizontally is at the 60 days cash mark. Our board policy says that if any year, well, the current board policy, in a couple months it will be different, but the current board policy says if at any time during the 5-year forecast we drop below 60 days, Mr. Knoll and myself have to give a presentation as to how we can resolve this issue. Notice the light blue was lower than the 60, so here we are giving this presentation. Any questions so far about that? Okay. I also presented this chart to the community in February about where our general fund dollars go. About 6% of our general fund expenditures can be classified as other. So we're talking about supplies, maybe transfers out, etc. Purchase services, about 10%. We're talking utilities. We're talking an electrician shows up or a plumber shows up to make a fix. We're talking substitute teachers through the ESC, and we're talking about special education expenditures through the ESC also. The remaining 84% is coming from personnel. So now we're talking about salaries, benefits, STRS, SERS, medical coverage, All of those things are wrapped up into the 84%. If we're going to have to save money, we have to be a little bit blunt here. The 10 and the 6 can maybe be adjusted a little bit, but there's not a lot of meat on that bone. We're going to have to heat the buildings, we're going to have to keep the lights on, etc., right? We're going to have to fill the buses with diesel fuel that cost $1 more per gallon than they did 2 months ago, is the reality. So when we look at the personnel cost, the 84%, that's where the lion's share is going to have to come if the district is going to make reductions. That is just clear from the picture there. So this was the board policy. I don't want you to read this entire thing. That was not the intention. But notice there in the second paragraph, it does say that the board policy, that one of my jobs is to have 60 days of operating expenditures every year during the 5-year forecast. That's part of the job that I am tasked with by the board here at Canfield. And then the last paragraph talks about within any year of the 5-year forecast, if we drop below that 60 days, then we have to talk to you about that. And that's what we're doing right now. So it's board policy 6220 if you would like to read that for yourself. Before we get into the nuts and bolts, important things to remember, okay? First, forecasts are projections that are constantly changing. When I presented the forecast in February, I was giving you the information to the best of my knowledge at that time, right? And now that I'm giving kind of a little bit of a non-official update, I'm also giving you the information now to the best of my ability. The reality is small things are constantly occurring that have small effects or possibly large effects on the forecast. So they cannot be taken as gospel. When we present a forecast, it's always with, this is the best information I have at the time. Our board policy talks about the current 5-year forecast, so that is going to be our focus, okay? I am not going to stretch, Mr. Knoll and I are not going to stretch into 2031, 2032. We're going to focus on the 5 years in the forecast that I presented in February. The reality is, the farther out we go, the less reliable forecasts become, okay? You can set your money to, we're going to be within a couple $100,000 for this fiscal year of that $1.46 million deficit. When we got to next year, we have to spread that margin of error a little bit, okay? So every year, more things happen that aren't expected, and then we have to constantly adjust. So as we sit here now, we are going to be less confident about 2030 than we will about 2026. That is the reality, okay? The options discussed today are meant to be used as guides. They're not considered to be actual proposals by me, the superintendent, or the board, okay? So here was my logic going into this. If we're deficit spending, and the board knows that we're probably going to be deficit spending this year and next year, my logic was this. If I'm a board member, I would want to know want to know the guardrails, okay? If we're spending more than we're bringing in, I'd want to know, well, on one extreme, how much would we have to reduce on expenditures, okay? I'm going to present that as an option tonight. On the other end, I'd want to know, well, say we don't want to cut expenditures, say we want to raise revenue. I'm also going to present that option tonight, okay? And then, well, knowing me, there's probably a third option in the middle, where it's we do a little bit of the both. That's also going to be the third option tonight. These are not the only 3 options that exist, all right? But my goal as the treasurer was to communicate to the board, here's one extreme, here's another extreme, and here's something that probably falls in the middle. And hopefully we will have some kind of work session in the very near future to discuss these deeper, look at more options. Our frontline forecasting software is fantastic, and I can run simulations very, very quickly, and we can get very good data very, very quickly with the tools at my disposal. So just throwing that out there to everyone listening tonight. So again, these options are meant to be the starting point for upcoming deeper dialogue. We are not going to solve any problems here at this board meeting tonight. This is just to inform the board and the public of certain options that may exist to us. Lastly, forecasting is not meant to be a set it and forget it practice. It's like cooking a filet mignon. It's not like putting something in a crock pot, okay? You have to constantly look, constantly study it, constantly revise it. There's a new state budget every 2 years. that requires revision. There's a new valuations every 3 years that requires constant revision. So again, I'm always presenting what I know at the time and what I expect to happen in the future, but of course, things happen that are not expected, okay? So it's not meant to be a set it and forget it. These options that I give today would potentially have to be different next month or 2 months down the road if unforeseen circumstances occur. Any questions before we continue? Okay. So again, I talked about the 3 roadways here, the extreme guardrails and then kind of the middle road here. I'm going to present 3 options tonight. The first one is, what if the district is focused fully on the reduction of expenditures? The board probably wants to know, well, how much would we have to reduce? If we can't bring in any more money, how much do we have to reduce? Okay, I would want to know that if I were a board member. But on the other side, I also want to know, well, if we want to keep things the same, how much do we have to raise? Okay, and then again, number 3 is going to be, well, what if we want to do a little bit of both? What if the reductions of expenditures is too extreme? Or what if the increase of revenue is too extreme? And what if we want to meet somewhere in the middle? Then we're going to address that as well. All right, so number 1, this is the path of reducing expenditures. Okay, this would not be before next school year, it would be before the 27-28 school year. Okay, so this is giving us a year to plan for this. All right. A proposal would be to reduce expenditures by $3.2 million. Okay, now, if you're sitting out there, you're probably wondering, well, what is that for our budget? It's about 9% of what I had planned for fiscal 28 in the February forecast. So we're talking about close to a 10% reduction of expenditures. Okay, if we did that as a district, what would our financial status look like? Okay, questions on where I'm going here? This is the extreme on the expenditure side. So let me show you 2 graphs. Okay, so the upper right-hand graph, the blue is revenue and the orange is expenditures, and that's what was presented to the board in the February forecast. Okay, now the upper left is option 1 based on all of the changes that Mr. Knoll already described. Remember the 2 days cash graph where one was in light blue and one was in orange, okay? So I've updated that, and then I've reduced expenditures by $3.2 million for fiscal 2028, which starts July 1st and ends June 30th of 2028. So notice in the upper left graph, notice how the blue bars, the revenues, are staying the same, but the oranges are being reduced, okay? We're only focusing on reducing the expenditures here in orange. Notice that a $3.2 million reduction in fiscal 28 actually still leaves us, with my current projection, slightly deficit spending, okay? The orange bar in fiscal 28 is actually still a little bit higher than the blue bar, okay? So option 1, with reductions of $3.2 million before the school year of 27-28, would likely still be lead to deficit spending that fiscal year, with increases moving forward. Because notice in 29 and 30, orange continues to increase a little bit, whereas the blues do remain relatively flat. So I would ask, well, what does that leave us with the days cash, right? Because our board policy is based on 60 days cash. So this option, we would end 2030 with about 28 days of cash. Notice 2029 is 66 days of cash. So as of 2029, we're still following the board policy. And as of 2030, we'd be at about 28. So I would say with 3 to 4 years of planning, maybe we get a retirement here or there and we're able to reduce some expenditures elsewhere. I would feel pretty comfortable with that. But again, this is based off of a $3.2 million reduction of our expenditures before the 27-28 school year. Any questions about that? And Mr. DeMello, I'll repeat your question so that people at home can hear. That's fine. That's fine. So Mr. DeMello said the board will wait to get up to the front to ask their questions so people at home can hear what they're asking. So again, this is one extreme. I would say this is the reduction of expenditures. What would we likely need to reduce to meet our board policy? What if we went to the other extreme, okay, and we said, well, we want to keep our staffing where it is, we want to keep doing exactly what we're doing, maybe we can raise revenue through a levy, okay? This model assumes that a new levy is passed in 2026, which would have to be November of 2026 because the time has already passed for putting a levy on in May. If we were to pass a levy in 2026, we would begin collecting in calendar year 2027. So those tax advances would start coming in usually about February, and then they would probably be done by March or early April. Was where the tax increases would fall. The district, if we took this route, the district could continue to make small staffing changes as needed. There wouldn't need to be massive changes. We could continue to fine tune as we have done in the past. So we could still work on the expenditure side, but the focus would be on the initial revenue increase. I put in a levy of 5 mills being passed in November of 2026. What does that mean? Well, that's $175 annually per $100,000 of the value of a home. So I put in a little table here. If the home valuation is $100,000, it'd be an annual cost of $175, $200,000, $350, all the way down to $500,000 would be an annual cost of about $875 for a homeowner. And then you could just continue on if your home is worth more. Or if your home is between $400,000 and $500,000, you could kind of, average those two values together to find the approximate cost for your home. Where would that put the district financially if we focused on the revenue increase? Well, again, same graph as before. The upper right-hand picture is the winter forecast as I presented it in February, okay? But now the option 2, the upper left, now we're increasing the revenue, we're increasing the blue bars, and we're keeping the orange bars approximately the same because the focus here was on increasing revenue. Notice by passing a 5 mil levy, it certainly looks like, according to my projections right now, we would be at a budget surplus, a small budget surplus in fiscal year 28, with the potential for a small budget deficit in 29 and then an increasing budget deficit in 2030, okay? Kind of in that box there, passing a 5 mil levy would produce a budget surplus in 2028. And again, the district could still make small changes to staffing over time if we needed to continue to balance budgets moving forward. And then where does that leave us with days cash? Well, notice here we would be at a very healthy 96 days cash at the end of 2030, which would very much fulfill our current board policy of 60 days cash throughout the forecast. Notice we kind of hit a max there of 130 in fiscal 28, and then we had small deficits projected in 29 and 30, which would bring us down to 119 and then to 96. And then, of course, there's the mixture of the two. So one if one is too extreme and one if we think the other is too extreme, how do we meet in the middle somewhere? So again, this model is based on passing a new levy in calendar year 2026, which would be November of 2026. So we'd begin collecting the new revenue in calendar year 2027 in February, March for the tax advances. Instead of doing $3.2 million of reductions, what if we did $1.8 million of reductions? And instead of doing 5 mil levy, which would be $175 per 100,000, we did 3 mils, which is $105 annually. And again, I've added a table here if you're curious about how much that would cost you as a homeowner based on the value of your house. So here we're kind of like, we're raising the revenue and we're decreasing the expenditures, but not as extreme as in options 1 or 2. So again, upper right-hand corner with the winter forecast as it was filed. It's the same picture that was on option 2 and option 1. But now option 3, you're seeing both blue and orange are being affected. Blue is increasing a little bit in revenue. Orange is decreasing a little bit on expenditures because we're kind of taking a half and half approach to fixing the financial issue. This option produces a budget surplus in fiscal '28. Notice the blue is winning a little bit over the orange. And again, small staffing adjustments could be made moving forward if the district still needed, because it does appear that in fiscal '29 and '30, we would be back in a position of potential budget deficits based on the current forecast. But again, as I've said before, the farther you go out, the less reliable forecasts are going to become. And then this is the option 3 days cash. Notice at the end of 2030, we would be at 87 days of cash, which again is healthily above our board policy of 60 days of cash. So those are the 3 options. Again, they're not the only 3 options. I very much meant this to be the starting point for deeper discussion. How can we attack this problem that we have with the budget, with the deficit spending? That is all that I have. If the board would like to come up and then ask their questions, I'd be more than happy, and Mr. Knoll will be more than happy to answer. Should I leave this plugged in? Yeah, let me leave this plugged in. Seems more intelligent. Can we possibly get the screen turned back on, George? I apologize.
There we go. You can be back up. There we go. We're good. Yep, we're good. Yep.
Okay. I'll kind of stand here, not because I think I'm more important, but because I think it'll be easier to answer your questions, and I can kind of go back and forth between the slides, however you may need. So,
There we go. I know I asked this to you once before, but I just want clarification again and for our community to understand. Can you speak on the current levies that we have on when they're due to expire?
Yes.
What those are, the amounts those are?
Yeah, so the next levy we have, so the state gives us an option of when a levy is expiring, you can renew it either in the spring or the fall of the last year of collection or the fall before. So if a levy is expiring in 3 years, you can't try to renew it right away. You have to wait until it's almost expired. So the next opportunity we would have to renew the emergency levy, I believe, is the one that's coming up next, would be not the fall of 26, but the fall of 27. I'm forgetting the millage off of the top of my head. I could find it for you. It's in our software, our frontline software, but that would fall in November of 27, would be the first opportunity. And then if that were to not pass, we could try spring of 28 and then the fall of 28. If it did not pass in those 3 times, it is now off of our books, and now you need to pass a new levy. You can't call it a renewal anymore.
So to build on Mrs. DeRamo's question, are your options 1, 2, and 3 anticipating renewal of those levies on
Yes.
top of? Okay.
Yes. 1, 2, and 3 both have it built in that the renewal in 27 or 28 that we just spoke about is passing.
Okay.
And then also, Mr. Marco, we had spoke about this, but again, to jump on what Jill was saying and to clarify for the community.
Mm-hmm.
The levies that could possibly happen with these 3 options are not the same as a PI levy,
Correct.
a new build. This is not about new buildings, this is strictly about operating.
Correct. So when you pass a bond issue for buildings, that money goes into a totally different, so the general fund is 001. I'm going to talk treasurer like nerd stuff right now. So general fund is 001. When you pass a bond issue, that initially goes into, I believe, an 004, and then it ends up in maybe an 003 fund. So in that 003, you cannot pay for salaries. You can't pay for ESC expenditures, you have to pay for those building expenditures out of that. So in theory, a lot of our general fund dollars are used currently for fixing up our buildings, right? If we have an issue at the high school with, say we have a leak in the roof, we can use general fund dollars to use that. But if we're talking about what we're talking about now with bringing a levy, this would be for operating expenses, which would be separate and apart from a bond issue, which we would try to pass to, say, build new buildings or build an addition onto a building or something similar to that. Correct. So those are two different things. And so if you pass an operating levy, you can use that for building expenditures, but if you pass a bond issue, you cannot use that for salaries, utilities, et cetera.
So I just want to say thank you for the presentation. And if somehow we can start to highlight some of the positives. I mean, you guys went through some positives, and I don't know, even if our social media, our Instagrams, or if we can do a, did you know that Canfield schools, and just say, hey, we are able to maximize our dollar per pupil, and we're ranked,
That was my goal
X.
tonight,
Yeah,
because
so-
this is a lot of doom and gloom.
Yeah.
It is,
So
but there's a lot of
we've
positives
got
as
to
well.
highlight the positives
Yep.
on how fiscally
Agreed.
responsible we've been and what
Agreed.
we're able to crank out from a spend per pupil and the academic success of
Correct.
each pupil. And so I think that needs to be put out there. We talk about trying to communicate and being transparent, and people want to hear it. We've got to push that out there, because people are going to say, oh, they don't know how to spend. They should have never let this happen. But people also need to understand how the operating levies typically function. You build up your reserves and you start to spend it down, and you got to be able to figure out how to.
You might want to come to next week's State of the Schools address.
Okay.
And get a
Next
lot
month.
of good positive
Okay,
stuff.
so-
Next month, I'm sorry, next month.
Next month.
Yeah,
So,
next month.
Very good, but I think that
we're ready to roll.
That's point one. So
Yep.
if we can somehow figure that out, and so people can realize that there's a lot of success within the Canfield School District, and we've been able to achieve a lot for our spend. Listening to these, I know we're not going to solve for it today, but the only thing I think, I looked at Steve when you were going through this. Option 1, 2, and 3, as much as it helps alleviate, doesn't necessarily look like it's a long-term solve. And, by 29 and 30, we're still in a deficit spend, and we're maybe at maximum with any of the options, getting ourselves 86 days of cash at hand. So then we're gonna be back at it to try to solve for 2030 and beyond almost. And the only reason I say that is, unfortunately, it doesn't look like 3 mils or 5 mils is really gonna help give us a long-term solve.
So I think that harkens back to one of the 6 things that I said, where this is not a set it and forget it practice, right? So according to the board policy, right? So I like to look at things in black and white,
Yeah.
right? We've established that.
Yeah.
So board policy says, let's focus on this 5-year forecast. We got to be at 60 days, right? That is what the board policy says. That's part of my job. So I agree with you. My intention was not to give a 15 to 20 year fix, right? Which in reality is impossible to do anyway, because really this 5-year forecast already spans 3 different state budgets. If we go out to 10 years, now we're talking about spanning 5 to 6 state budgets, and who knows what's going to happen, right? Some of these things that were passed in the fall, I never would have expected to hear. Like, oh, we're going to go back to 2023 values. The state's going back 2.5 years to districts and saying, we're going to give some of that money back to the taxpayers. I never would have thought that would happen. So to try to project out that far is really a difficult. It's a difficult thing to say with any certainty. Like, wow, we've solved the problem for the next 15 years. That's very difficult to do.
Fair enough.
And that wasn't necessarily my goal with the presentation, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One thing I want to touch on, obviously we're talking heavily about operating levies here, expenses, but we really have 2 financial issues with Canfield, right? We have the operating, and we have the facilities, which isn't going away and hasn't gone away. So as I look at both of those, and as you guys just talked about, you know, this is a fix, but maybe a short-term fix. We don't know what will happen with the budget and all that. Certainly doesn't help the facilities issue. So, you know, I don't sit here and know what the answer is, but I think as a board and as a community, we need to get together and really lay out a strategic plan, looking at both of those, and try to lay out a game plan the best we can to solve both of those issues. You know, I feel like we're kind of playing whack-a-mole a little bit here. We had the facility issues, we tried that. Now we got the operating, we're trying that. And I think we have to look at them in totality, and I know that's easier said than done. I'm sure we're gonna have some work sessions, maybe some community forums out of this, but we can't lose sight of that, the facility issues as well. Because, you know, based off of those graphs, it looks like we're getting some increase, and then there's still just a spend down of our money. You know, it's not like that money then is freed up that we can spend it on roofs and those sorts of things. We're still just spending down our money, maybe just a little slower. So again, I don't know what it is. And we have to focus on what can get passed too. Not, you know, I wish we'd have a whole new campus and everything like that, but what can get passed? What can we pass? We have to focus on that, and try to tackle both of these problems to the best of our ability. So, you know, I know you talked about a work session, whatever it may be, a community forum, but I think we have to whenever we do that, we have to make it at a time when most people in the public can get here, voice their opinions. Let's hear from them, because they're the ones who are going to vote on it. So we want to hear what would pass. I don't know how you guys feel about that, about the two issues that we're facing, and kind of trying to tackle them both at the same time. Getting creative with it, I don't know, but you know, we have that renewal coming up, and beyond that, our PI is probably next.
That's continuing.
That's continuing,
Yeah, that's
okay.
continuing. But we have another levy that's coming up, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sure we'll have some more questions from everybody here, but I think coming out of this, our next step should really be to get something on the books, to start to try to get a strategic plan. I know, Mr. Marco, you talked about putting something on in this fall. I'm not necessarily opposed to that, but there's a lot of moving pieces, including the levy committee, who I know some folks are here. But again, I don't want to get in this whack-a-mole game where we're just trying to fix one problem and then the next one's coming up, so.
I mean, I think we have to set, it looks like we should do a work session sooner than later.
Yes.
And then if we happen to at least map out with the community a plan of attack from a finance, which we can envision what that looks like from a building perspective, how much we'll need, and then maybe you know, what we need from an operating perspective, and then we can use that to kind of help feed the strategic plan too. But I mean, how soon are you saying that you probably think we need to do this?
Well, I think we're saying sooner than later, because
Yeah.
if we go in November, I believe the treasurers are gonna tell you, we gotta hit the gavel on something like in August.
August first.
So it needs to be the
So-
Board of Elections in August, so we would probably, and you have to pass 2 resolutions.
Yeah, so
So it'd
it's
have to
not
be
much
either
time.
probably May and June, or June and July.
Not much time.
Which means we probably want a work session before our next board meeting?
Oh, yes,
Yes.
I would say before the next board meeting, for sure. And I would encourage the public to get there.
For the work session, is that when you're saying you want it to be a good time for the most people to attend that?
That, yeah, I mean, that's my hope, is that we
Okay.
can, you
Yeah.
know, not do it at
No,
noon on a
you're talking
Tuesday.
about not a public meeting, you're talking about work session for us.
It's
as
a
a board.
public.
But it'll be a
But
public
it's a
It is
public,
public.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
like a special board meeting, so,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
it's not one of our regular ones, but it would be,
Gotcha.
yeah, they're always public.
Do we want to schedule that now, like we have in the past, or?
I mean, I think we should.
I can.
Alignment.
I mean, yeah, and then I don't know if, I kind of hijacked this year, if other people have questions that they want to ask Ben too, I want to give everybody that opportunity.
I'm just grabbing my phone if you want to start
Yeah.
talking about dates.
What do y'all think is that best time? Is there a date or time that,
I mean, I think,
I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I think obviously post-work hours, right, in the evening is going to be the best opportunity for everybody. Obviously, Mr. Ramo and Mrs. Elford, certainly, but the community as well.
And how much notice do we need to give the community again? Can you remind
3
me?
days, right?
For special meeting, yeah, it's, the window's a little smaller.
Okay.
Yeah.
48 hours, I believe.
Yeah, so
Oh,
we're
okay.
fine with that.
Okay.
I mean, is next week too early, like Thursday the 23rd?
Can we not do Thursday, please? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Can
I
I
hate to
do
be that
Thursday?
guy.
I can't do.
Can't do
Thursday.
Thursdays? Okay, next week might be too soon.
I mean, next week would probably be better for me just because I'm away for work on the 28th, 29th, and 30th.
Ooh,
So-
okay.
I could do Wednesday, the 22nd.
Wednesday, 22?
We can do Wednesday, the 22nd.
What time would we say for that?
Probably 6.
I mean, I could do it. It sounds like Mr. Otway.
It's Earth Day and my birthday.
It's both. It is. We could bring you some ice cream for your birthday, have cake.
My wife and kids might be upset with me. but-
Oh, yeah, we don't want to do that.
But-
We don't
but-
want to do
but
that.
we can, I would say let's set it, and then at least if 4 of you are here and I'm not, I think I can
What
get an
about
exemption.
Tuesday, the 21st? Does that work better?
That does work better if you guys can do that.
I can do the 21st as well.
Okay.
All right, that way my wife and
Marco,
kids.
Actually,
are
not,
That's
hold on, hold on. That's your birthday.
It is not my birthday, but
My birthday's on the 23rd. Nader, I didn't know that.
We just need to have one big birthday
That's what
party.
we do. We need
it's
to
not
have,
my birthday.
Well,
but,
you're looking like Monday, which is really quick turnaround.
Let's-
Monday the 20th
yeah, even
or Friday the 24th.
just do the 22nd. If the 4 of you guys can do the 22nd.
yeah, but I want to make sure you can be there. Like, are you gonna?
I'll,
You could bring your cake and
yeah, I'll
ice cream.
figure something out.
Do you want to try like the 27th? Did you suggest that already? Like Monday?
Well, he was gone that week,
Oh,
I
that whole
think.
week
I think.
No,
I think.
I'm just on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so I could do the 27th.
I could do the 27th.
27th now.
I can do the 27th
Going once?
as well.
I can't do the.
Oh, Steven.
He's killing it.
Listen, it's Roman's first baseball game ever.
Ever. Okay.
Go,
sorry.
Go with Earth Day. Go with Earth Day.
So we're back to the 22nd,
That's fine.
22nd,
Roman's
and we want to do 6 o'clock again?
Yeah. And I think just have it here.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I'm hoping there's a
Hoping
lot
that
of people
there'll be
here. That's why.
people here, yeah.
Yeah. So, Mr. Treasurer, are we good?
Yes, sir.
Wednesday, the 22nd, 6 p.m.
Yes.
Here.
I'll put out the notice tomorrow.
Okay, appreciate that.
Are there any
Please.
further questions for now?
Can, if we want the most people to attend, can we post this on social media?
Yeah, I'll do what we do, sure.
I mean, I think hitting it a couple times on social media would be
Yeah,
good.
yeah, it's not a problem.
And I just kind of wanted to, just to real quickly have a comment to Mr. Marco. Going along much with what everyone said, but specifically Nader, even though that was like gloomy and, and you hear the word deficit, and
Yeah.
everything has a negative connotation to it, but the fact that academically we're staying where we're at, like the
Yeah.
red dot is
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, I love this graph. I mean, I saw it right away. It's attached to kind of the report card page. Anything to the left of us is cheaper, and anything above us is performing better. So when you look into the upper left, there's not a lot of dots up there, right? Almost all of the dots are below us and to the right.
Only have 2.
And would this dot roughly for us be representing the additional, the 4, I forget the one slide, but it was after you showed like what we've saved over the 3.2?
So I believe this was attached to last year's report card. Isn't that right?
So in theory, it potentially could be even improved on the
In theory.
financial, like on the financial aspect of things.
Depends how
correct?
much we spend.
Yeah.
So I think
and, like,
that
with
graph
nutrition
is
and things.
fiscal 25.
Okay, all right, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. No, I think it highlights what our kids and our staff do. I mean, to achieve that with what we're able to spend
Yeah,
is-
amazing staff, I think is what that.
says a lot
really
about them,
pushes,
so.
yeah.
All right, so we'll shoot for the 26th or 22nd at 6 p.m. Sorry. Anybody else, obviously we don't have to do any motions with that. Anybody else have comments before we move on? Okay. Public participation? Is that?
No.
Nobody?
Okay, well, hang on, okay, because this is our big month of personnel. So here we go. We'll start with our licensed staff and personnel. We have Riley Gressley, our elementary school psychologist, effective for the 26-27 school year at $63,089. We also have Addison Manoski, our new middle school intervention specialist, effective for the 26-27 school year at $55,930. We have Laura Breyer, will be our licensed daily sub at Hilltop, effective on March 23rd for the remainder of the school year at $125 a day. And Ashley Conrad, our middle school intervention specialist, effective for the 26-27 school year at $70,024. And we have some classified staff to hire. Melissa Sabanich, who will be the CHS head cashier, effective for the 26-27 school year at step 0. Don Goclano will go from high school cafeteria to high school assistant cook, effective for the 26-27 school year at step 1. And Tina Schmidt from CH head cashier to the middle school assistant cook, effective for the 26-27 school year at step 5. There's no dollar amounts there because we'll be negotiating with that union soon. We also have some hiring of classified subs. We have Lori Rice, Catherine Yasher, Hannah Meach, and Robert Resco. We have some high school and middle school summer school teachers at $40 an hour. Mr. Holben, Mr. McElroy, Mr. Courtney, Mr. Wenzel, Mr. Giacomo, Ms. Dysert, and Ms. Archer. And then our hiring of some elementary school teachers at $40 an hour. We have Ms. Graffis and Cheryl Tubick. And we also like to recommend hiring of our extracurricular coaches that we had attached in that exhibit. We have some resignations and retirements from our classified staff. We have Diane Poole, the C.H. Campbell nurse, will be resigning for the purpose of retirement effective June 1, 26. Ms. Toria Chiat for the middle school cafeteria aide bus driver, resigned effective March 25th of 26. Barb Noel, our middle school secretary, will be resigning for the purpose of retirement effective June 30 of 2026. We have Holly McMahon, CH special needs aide, resigns as of March 30th of 26. And Kaylin Shamuda, Hilltop special needs aide, resignation as of May 20 of 26. We also have some resignations and retirements of our licensed staff. Ms. Kristen Kunzman, the middle school intervention specialist, a resignation as of August 2nd of 2026. And one personal, tough one for me as superintendent, is our high school principal. Dr. Mark Potts will be resigning for the purpose of retirement, effective July 31 of 2026. I'd like to also recommend approving of our administrators' contracts. We have Mr. Flood and Mr. Rubin. Our central office staff, we have Ms. Figley and Ms. Bauer. And then we also have some contracts and renewals for our licensed teachers. And I'm just going to do these as a group. So it's going to be our continuing contract teachers as presented. And then our 1-year limited contract teachers, that big group as presented. And then our 1-year limited contracts for our tutors, those folks as presented. And then number 5, I'd like to recommend contract renewals for folks in our classified staff. The first group, those 2-year limited contracts, those individuals as presented. And then we also have some non-renewing of limited contracts. And as you can see, those are mostly our paraprofessionals, but that group as presented as well. So with all that being said, all of those staffing recommendations as presented tonight.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the staffing recommendations as presented by the superintendent?
So moved.
Second, DeRamo.
Any discussion?
I do just want to add one comment. I know he had to leave, but congratulations to all of those retiring that we're accepting today. But to Dr. Potts, it's rare sometimes to see someone come in from outside of the area and have the impact that he did in the 3 years' time that he has been at this high school. And so the positive changes, the focus on students, the ability to revamp some of our curriculum, offer up additional
100%.
courses, continue to challenge the staff, and to give them the autonomy in some capacity, as well as just working through the new classes, has been impressive. And so I'm a fan of always talking people out of retirement if there's that capability. I know we'll let him go and enjoy this, but hopefully we can somehow get him to have just a little bit of hiatus and maybe bring him back. But I know that's probably not going to happen. But I can always be wishful. But
I
thank
told
you.
him I might lose his letter.
Yeah.
And he emailed me back and said, I'll send you another one.
Yeah, if there was a way. But he's been a great addition for the 3 years that we've had, and we're going to miss him dearly. And I just want to thank him, and I'll make sure I thank him personally. So.
Yeah, I would just echo that with Dr. Potts, and certainly has been a huge plus for the district and just a phenomenal person. One other person I wanted to, congratulate all the retirees, and one other person I wanted to highlight was Barb Knoll, who has been a secretary down at the middle school for a long time, and I mean, just the face of that office down there. When I was a student, when I taught, and just a great lady, and wish her all the best in retirement. Then I'd also like to say congratulations to all those teachers and staff getting continuing contracts. Thank you for all you do, and well deserved. So.
And I did just want to ask, because I don't know the answer to this, on the one-year limited contracts, the teachers, and there's quite a sizable, what constitutes like those individuals being on the one-year contract?
Mr. Murphy, you want to speak to that? A one-year teacher contract?
So the contract with the CEA kind of separates it out. I think it's page 45 or 46. I was just in there the last couple of days. It depends on when you have your license. If it was before January of 11, you're kind of under step 1, step 2, step 3. And then if you're after January of 2011, it's kind of like step 1, step 2, step 3. It has something to do with if you didn't have a master's degree when you were hired, or you did you get maybe 30 hours? Or if you already had it, did you get 6 more hours? I think you had to be in the district 3 of the last 5 years. There's a couple requirements under each of those branches. I don't have them memorized, but it has something to do with education, years in the classroom, et cetera. Specifically in Canfield. If you had continuing contract elsewhere and you moved here, there's kind of a different branch for that as well.
And I'd like to thank Mr. Marco, because this is a big amount of work that it takes to put this agenda together with all of our staff. So he did a nice job.
And in turn, I'd like to thank Danny Olsavsky, because she was a massive help in this endeavor the last couple of weeks, especially the last few days. I am very, very blessed to have both her and Kelly to work with every day.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. DeRamo?
Yes.
Ms. Elford?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend the approval of our first reading of our policies.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the first reading of our policies?
So moved, DeRamo.
Second, Elford.
Any discussion? I know we have some people on the policy committee. I don't know if you guys want to, I was going to give you a chance to speak in the old business, but I don't know if you want to just do that now, or?
Yeah, I can speak. So the policy committee met, and for me being new, the newbie, I wanted to learn a little bit about how we adopt policy, what that looks like, and Mr. Vito kind of did a really nice job for us and presented us with the new policy changes that have come kind of down, and looking at, where we get those policies from. We have a group of, attorneys that kind of overseeing that, and they share those things with us and tell us what we should be adopting and what policies and what we have rights to be able to change or what, not change. So it was really interesting for me to kind of just learn that procedure and how we are handling policy around here. And I will say that I was really impressed with Mr. Vito, and he really has a real understanding of what's going on and keeping things organized for us. So I really appreciate that.
Amen. Amen to that. That's a big task too. Big time. Yep.
I felt like it could be, I kept saying, this could be like a full-time job, just handling all the policy, so.
Neil was a big help, but there's
Yes.
still that local piece that Mr. Vito's done a really nice job of getting us up to speed.
Okay. All right. Roll call.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. DeRamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Elford?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
These next two items are just kind of like an FYI for you. We've completed our nutritional standards form, and we've also have included our intra-district open enrollment. And this is between like Hilltop and CH, if we ever have kids that want to go between either one of them. We don't need to have a vote. This is just information only, so.
So if parents wanted to inquire about that intra-district, they would just call one of the
Yeah,
elementaries?
we always have that opportunity. Yeah, okay. Excuse me, so we'll go to number 9. I'd like to recommend approving the contract with Asset Control Solutions for on-site inventory services.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the contract with Asset Control Solutions for on-site inventory services?
So moved, Alford.
Second, DeRamo.
Can we get some
How about have
explanation?
Mr. Marco walk
Yeah,
us
I would
through
love
that
to.
one?
I'd love to.
Yep.
So, Asset Control Solutions is a company, so the big inventory company in this area has actually gone out of business. It was called Valuation Engineers. They were out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They've gone out of business. Part of our board policy is that we should be having a physical inventory of the district at least once every other year. So what Asset Control Solutions will do is hopefully this summer, so I was in contact with another vendor, but they were more along the lines of maybe we'll see you next spring if we're lucky. So hopefully it'll be this summer, maybe June, July, or August. They will come out, and our board policy is that anything that's $10,000 or above needs to be tagged and then recorded and then depreciated. And then we also have an administrative guideline that anything $5,000 above needs to be tagged, but we don't have to go through the process of depreciating those assets. This becomes really important in our gap conversion audit, which occurs in the fall every year, where the gap auditors come in and they take our governmental accounting and then they basically put it into a business accounting. And so then they do that conversion for the district, and then the fiscal auditors will audit that gap conversion. Also, for insurance purposes, we want to make sure we have proper valuation of our buildings. So if you have a $20,000 car, you don't want to be insured for $100,000, nor do you want to be insured for $2,000, right? You want to be insured for $20,000 because that is what your car is worth. This company that will come in will give us good values of, well, if we have in our insurance policy, what should we really be covered for? I do not consider myself an inventory expert at all. I do not think that the district wants me performing this service. I would much rather prefer to leave it up to the experts. And they will only have to come out in person every other year. On the off years, they will send me a sheet and I'll give them the updates. We got rid of this bus, we put these walls in a Hilltop, et cetera. And then they give us an updated list every year. And then if our board policy stays the same, we would just have them come out every other year. So on the off years, the expenses will be much lower than when they actually have to show up in person.
You mentioned depreciation. I'm assuming in the business world that can be a positive thing for you from a tax standpoint.
Well, so not for a tax standpoint for us.
Right.
But more for a gap conversion and for insurance purposes. We want to make sure that we know the value of our inventory in the building so that we are properly insured, not overinsured, not underinsured, but we want to be properly insured.
Okay.
And this will help with that.
Do you know the last one we had done?
Physical, I do not know for sure. It has been a long time. It has been a long time. It needs to happen.
Okay.
It needs to happen.
Questions? Okay. Roll call, please.
Did we first and second? I'm sorry.
Oh, did we?
We did.
Yeah, it
Mrs.
was
Alford.
Miss Alford and.
Yes, Mrs. Durama.
Durama.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. Duramo?
Yes.
Mrs. Alford?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend approving the contract with Access for our internet services.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the contract with Access for Internet Services?
So moved.
Second, Alquist.
Discussion. Did we,
It's the same thing.
So last month, there was an applications contract which is different. So this is just internet services.
Gotcha.
And then this aligns with our E-rate stuff that goes on that I'm not at all an expert on. But we have a consultant that handles our E-rate for us. This is part of that.
All right. Anybody else? Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. Duramo?
Yes.
Mrs. Elford?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend a resolution to initiate procedures under Ohio law for the retirement and reemployment of a teaching employee as exhibit March 30, 2026.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the resolution to initiate procedures under Ohio law for the retirement and reemployment of a teacher and teaching employee?
So moved, DeRamo.
Second, Alquist.
Any discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. Duramo?
Yes.
Mrs. Elford?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend resolution number 171-2026, authorizing negotiation and execution of an agreement with Helios Logistics LLC for our Hilltop Elementary School classroom partition wall project.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve authorizing the negotiation and execution of an agreement with Helios Logistics LLC for the Hilltop Elementary School classroom partition wall project?
So moved, Alford.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Mr. Nolan,
Yeah.
you said this will be this summer.
Yeah, so basically this resolution empowers me to get these guys on board. Reached out to Mr. Marone already as our engineer, and they do all that work with the county folks to get everything rolling. So once the gavel hits on this, we'll be moving forward. And the big issue is always lead time with things like doors and hardware. So I'll be calling Mr. Marone on my way home if it's approved tonight.
This does include doors, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I saw partition
Yeah,
wall, I just,
yeah.
okay. All right. Roll call, please.
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. Duramo?
Yes.
Mrs. Elford?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to donations.
All right, we've got a pretty long list tonight, and I'll do my best to pronounce all the names correctly. We have Hannah and Robert Berkey donating $100 to the CHS Art Show. Wendy Tassone donating $100 to the CHS Art Show. George and Athena Sudis donating $50 to the CHS Art Show. Sarah and David Kovas, $25 CHS Art Show. Lawrence D. Domenico and Mara Maloney D. Domenico, $50 CHS Art Show. Ellen Monroe, $50 CHS Art Show. The Burnett family, $10 CHS Art Show. Elizabeth and Sean Sight, $25 CHS Art Show. Jason and Toby Jugenheimer, $25 CHS Art Show. Regina Reynolds and Glenn Lay Mark Davis, $200 to the Kate Farragher Memorial Fund. 717 Credit Union, $250 for Challenge 24. Canfield Presbyterian Church, $100 Canfield, or Challenge 24. V&V Appliance Parts Incorporated, $250 for Challenge 24. Johnson Family Dental Boardman LLC, $250 Challenge 24. UTLX Manufacturing LLC, $250 Challenge 24. Meredith Konya, $250 Challenge 24. Simon Roofing and Sheet Metal Corporation, $250 Challenge 24. Daytex Inc., $250 Challenge 24. Paul and Rebecca Soriano, $100 Challenge 24. Majavix Catering and Concessions LLC, $250 Challenge 24. The Anthony J. Fox Family Foundation, $500 to Challenge 24. John and Diana Scrocco, $250 Challenge 24. Afreen Munda, $50 Challenge 24. Don Laszlo, $50 Challenge 24. Shannon Yanadi, $50 Challenge 24. Sorry, I gotta move my list down a little bit.
Can I help you during that break? If you want, you can just say the following are all Canfield players and then just read them. It saves
Oh.
you from saying Canfield players 100 times.
So, okay. Well, I'll get down to, let me finish up these and I'll do the Canfield players then. Napor Adukia, $100, Challenge 24. And you're saying I can just read these following donations and say these were all for the Canfield players,
Yeah,
right?
just perfect.
So the I have to read each one in the amount though, correct?
Yep.
Yep, Guy family, $1,000. These are all for the Canfield players. Christine and Robert Gers, $500. Faisal and Catherine Bajwa, Papa John's, $500. Nicholas and Anissa Motarelli, $500. Thomas DeCellis, DDS LLC, $250. Window World, $250. 898 Marketing, $500. George Wheaton, $100. We Ones LLC, $100. Aurora School of Music, $250. Youngstown Mirror and Glass Company, $100. Second Soul, $100. John Bergen, $100. Anthony Guy and Colleen DeSato, $50. Chris Carson Skincare LLC, $50. Anna and Joseph Rossetti Senior, $50. Angel Laudermilt, $50. Stone Fruit Coffee Company, Canfield, $250. Nicholas and Marianne Motarelli, $250. Robert and Joanne Weber, $100. John and Roseanne Cullen, $100. Austintown Pools and Spas, LLC, $250. The Youngstown Playhouse, $100. Canfield Band Parents Incorporated, $993. The following were made to the Canfield High School Robotics Club, Steps Staging LLC, $500. City Machine Technologies, $1,000. Canfield Rotary Association, $2,500. Dr. Mark Forsyth and Carrie Nugan, $1,000. Christine and Kenneth Stiver II, $50. And then the next one is for the CVS Student Activity Fund. It's the Kyle Brown Memorial Foundation, $2,500. The next one is we have a donation from Gregory Kerr, $1,500 for the Nicole Judy Kerr Scholarship. And then Designs Architecture donated $100 for the Canfield Education Innovation Fund. We have a total cash donations of $19,498.
Thank you to all our donors. That was very generous month there. So thank you all. Can I have a motion to approve the donations as presented?
Second, Alquist?
Any discussion? Roll call?
Dr. Alquist?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. DeRamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Elford?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes. Old business, I know you have a couple
Is there
things.
anything else that you have, old business? I didn't know.
Yeah, I got some things. I don't know if you want to kick it off first, or you want me to go first?
You make the call?
All right, I'll go.
You got it.
All right, committee updates, policy, you already went. Curriculum, I think you guys are holding off. I don't know if you have any, obviously we did the presentation for Mr. Madison.
Okay. So we met the curriculum committee, myself and Jill, what's up, in March with Mr. Knoll, Mr. Bitto, and multiple members of the teachers union. And the goal of our first meeting was just for Jill and I to kind of get to know the curriculum better at Canfield and understand what goes into the curriculum at all buildings, and gain some knowledge from the teachers about, you know, things they think are going great, which they had a lot of positive things to say, and maybe some areas we're collectively working on as a group to tweak. We all left, I think, feeling pretty confident that the meeting went really well and we gained a lot of knowledge. So we are going to meet quarterly, and our next meeting is in May, and I know the CEA sent out an email opening it up to anyone that would like to attend, and we hope to break off into smaller groups, probably by building level, to kind of dig down deeper into the curriculum at each building level.
And I'll add, one of the things that is going to come out of that came out of that meeting is Mr. Vitto had a really great document that had listed different curriculum being used throughout the district at different levels. Yeah. We asked to kind of expand on that and make that kind of more inclusive of other things that are being used, and also giving us more time frames of how long things have been used, and, you know, how long has a certain program been in use here. Things like that. So the teachers and Mr. Vitto, we're going to work on that for our next meeting, so we have additional information. But it was a great tool. I think it'll be very helpful for us, and I would like, we were talking about possibly having this shared out to the community on our website and things, because we want people to see what curriculum's being used and the information that we have, so.
Okay, thank you guys. Extracurricular, you guys.
Yeah, we met and we got a good update and debrief from Mr. Beam. I think our goal was at the time that maybe our next meeting to get a tour of the next project priorities from a
Weather was
facility
like
perspective,
this.
and the weather was like this, so we weren't able to do so.
Yeah, we didn't go outside.
But we know there's been, people are very pleased with the upgrades we've made to the baseball and softball fields, and when it rains like this, they can actually have a game, because before the drainage was so bad that you have to wait a week before you can go back on those fields. True.
I just wanted to add, it was interesting just seeing, like hearing from Mr. Beam, kind of like, Nader had a great question for him. He's like, what's your wish list? You know, after he went through maybe like the top, it was more than 10, I think, things that definitely were going to need to be addressed sooner than later. And going back to Mr. Marco's, like, the financial status of just, where we are currently does make it kind of interesting. So just trying to be a bit creative on, how are we gonna come up with the money for a new basketball court? I'm just using that as an example. And because everything's wildly expensive. So we were just kind of kicking around some ideas and like kind of being creative with maybe some potential like commercial sponsorship
Community
options or
partners.
community, yeah. Anybody who wants to, jump on, we're kind of thinking about that. And I mean, what could it hurt? So sometimes people do just like to be involved. Anybody who wants to get plugged in with the school or the kids or a program specifically,
Find
that
out
will be an
what
option.
people are passionate about.
Yeah,
That's the key.
yeah. So more of that to come
Thank
too.
you guys.
So,
And yeah, those are open to the community, so I think we have in the past, but I want to make sure when we schedule those, we are posting those on social media so folks know when they are and where they are. So second quarter's coming, or we're in the second quarter, so we got to start scheduling for those committees. I know myself, I'm a little behind there. So May pre-meeting, board members, you guys met at 5:15 today. I don't know if anybody wants to volunteer.
Well, we need to talk about
As we
that.
have, we
Yeah.
have the
Because
state
we're
of
gonna
the
have the state of the
schools.
schools
Yeah.
at 5, so if you wanted to come earlier, more than welcome.
Okay.
But we'll have to do a little time change if anybody wanted to
So
do
state of
that.
the schools is at 5 o'clock,
We're
so.
gonna go
is
from
that right?
5
Yeah.
to like 5:50-ish,
And then our regular meeting
and
6.
regular 6,
So
yes.
if we do a pre,
So if we
it
do, like,
technically would be at
4:30?
4:50. Yeah,
4:15.
I mean, we've been doing 45 minutes for those.
All right.
Maybe do a half hour that night?
We could do probably, I don't know what kind of turnout we would have, but I still want to make sure that we're offering it and being consistent in offering that. So I would say if we could do it from 4:15 to 4:45, and then gives us a couple minutes to run over and get in here and get ready.
Okay. Anybody want to volunteer?
I can come to that.
What's that?
I can be
Betsy,
present.
Dr. Alquist? Okay.
I might have trouble getting rid of that.
Yeah, and I can do it because I know you might have some trouble, and I'm sure you guys at the end might have some trouble with school and stuff. So so myself and Dr. Alquist,
Mr. Mao? Okay.
and we'll plan. What did we say?
4:15 to 4:45-ish?
Okay. I think that was really all I had, Mr.
Okay.
Mull.
Well, to Mr. Atway's point earlier, we're going to have our annual State of the Schools right before our next board meeting on Wednesday, May 13th at 5 o'clock, like we talked about. We're going to talk about the 3 A's, which I've shared many times. We're going to have a good night of celebration is what that's going to be, and a reflection of our strategic planning goals from this past year. So make sure you come to that. And in my Tuesdays, everybody saw, hopefully, that our Education Innovation Fund online auction is up and running. There are over 100 either events, activities, or experiences. It's really awesome. So get on there. All the money raised goes to the fund, and that money goes right back out to staff members who apply for grants and get a chance to do some cool, fun, creative things. So,
Can I add something to that, Mr. Knoll?
I'm sorry?
Can I add something to that? Can I add something to that about your auctions?
Yes, you may.
If you like pizza and pop,
Yes.
and you also enjoy losing to me in chess, check out number 256.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
and your 4 best friends pizza pop, and then I will beat all 5 of you
I'm impressed.
in the chess
with that.
match.
That's a new item.
That's a new item.
That's a
I will
new
be
item.
playing 5 games
Hot
at
off the
one
press.
time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Check it out.
And when's the auction over?
It goes from today till next Thursday at 9 p.m.
That's an exact science.
And it goes
too.
down.
Yes.
And I know what people do.
Yes.
You sit there to the last minute.
Well, you can set an auto bid. Which
Yes,
is
you
what's
can.
great.
Ah,
So you do an auto
Mr.
bid,
Atway
and
is
I
a
did it, but
four-year
auction
letterman.
But I paid
Yes.
some major bucks for some reserve
And I
graduation.
appreciated every one of them dollars.
Mr. DeRamo, you better get on that one.
Yeah, there are reserved graduation seats that you can choose exactly where you would like to be. The starting bid is at 200.
Well, but my family.
We'll go from there. So
Yeah, can I give those seats to my family?
whatever money
Reserve.
you win, you can put whatever you want to do. All right, sorry to digress.
That's
We're
all right.
good, we're good.
Good? All
Yes,
right,
sir.
can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, L4.
Second, DeRamo.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
All right.